Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mike Matalone on the line, and he's founder and chief talent officer at XP3 Talent. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you having me here.
All right, Mike. So excited to learn about the XP3 Talent System and XP3 Leadership Academy that we'll talk about today. And before we get started with that, first I'd like to start with our signature question. So, Mike, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Mike, what mission matters to you?
Well, our mission is we help our clients grow their company by growing their people. And that evolved out of a 5-year career span that I had from 2002 to 2007, where I was an executive coach and facilitator of CEO peer advisory groups for Vistage International. I ran 3 groups where I had about 15 members come into an all-day meeting once a month, and they would bring their various issues and challenges, and the group, as a peer group, would help them come up with solutions that they could go back and implement. So over that time, I learned a couple of key things that came out of that led me to the creation and focus on my mission, which was that no matter what business issue is presented, whether it's financial, sales, operations, et cetera, in most situations, they're really people problems. And we came to that conclusion because you put 12, 15 smart people in a room, it was rare that any issues were brought to the table that, somebody hadn't already been there and done and could speak from direct experience. But even if nobody had dealt with it, you put that many smart people in a room and, they could typically come up with at least 2 or 3 possible solutions. So that helped me to understand that most business problems are people problems. The other thing I learned over the years is that to grow a sustainable, profitable organization, you have to have systems and processes for everything that you do. So based on that, I started looking around trying to find out where the system was for the people. And I found hiring systems, I found onboarding training systems, I found even employee development systems, but I never found an end-to-end system that connected the dots and made it easy to learn and implement. So that was the motivation back in 2007 for me to go on my mission, which I said is to help our clients grow their company by growing their people.
That's awesome. That's great, Mike. And I love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs and businesses on the line to introduce them to my audience, and you're obviously one of those, so thank you for sharing that. And let's just dive right in. So tell me a little bit more about the XP3 Talent System.
All right. So as I said, it's an end-to-end system that helps companies achieve their growth objectives faster by focusing on growing their people, which, as I stated, is one of the keys to sustainable growth of an organization. So this includes how to hire the A players every time and do it in less than 34 days. And on that note, too, is, the big talk nowadays in the world we're living in is, nobody can find good help. And what we have learned that's not even the real challenge that they're trying to address, because if you do the right steps, which is define intimately what success looks like in a role from the standpoint of knowledge, skills, and behaviors, then finding the people actually becomes pretty easy. And we're experts on that. And we teach our clients at the same time we're helping them to do it. But then the next step of that process, once they're hired, of course, is to make them highly productive, collaborative members of their team and do that in the first 30 days. And that's part of our performance acceleration system. That's part of the whole hiring program. And then lastly, once you go through all that work, you want to make sure that you're going to keep and retain those A players. So we then focus on working with that immediate new hire and their supervisor and teach them how to understand and identify and implement an environment that supports both of their intrinsic motivational needs as well as how best to communicate that's based on their unique communication styles. And that has resulted in us having about 84% retention with almost every person that we've helped our clients hire over the last, say, 2 years. Now we've been tracking that.
What do you think makes the XP3 Talent System so effective?
Okay, well, so that's pretty simple. We remove the typical subjectivity that most people use when they're hiring, training, and retaining. That I like them, I don't like them, they appear to have the right stuff, and we replace that with science and analytics of performance management. And that includes a structured process that we teach. And as I said, each step leads to the next, and a suite of web-based tools that make it very easy to implement and repeat, as well as manage everything in one place. And then, as I was saying, each step in our system leads to the next. Nothing is done in isolation, and that's what makes it so repeatable and sustainable.
And so tell me a little bit more about just the overall XP3 Leadership Academy, just overall.
Yeah, so both we have our hiring program. So if companies just need help hiring a role or two, we teach them the process at the same time we're helping them to fill those roles and get those people on board and productive. But for companies who are truly serious about empowering their management team with absolute mastery of the skills that are required to lead a fast-growth, employee-centric company, we created our XP3 Leadership Academy. So this is a membership-based program. It's ongoing, based on a monthly fee where each company gets assigned their own individual performance coach. There's live training sessions that happen every week that their team can log into at their leisure. Every 6 weeks, we repeat 5 different classes that are taught within the academy to help them achieve mastery of those skills. We do private quarterly strategy sessions to make sure they're focused on the right things, and then we're tracking and measuring and proactively addressing any changes that are needed, as well as a handful of other elements that go with that. But ultimately, like I said, the academy is for those companies that really want to take it to the next level. They see the value that was created in just working with, a role or two that we help them with. And then they realize that if they do that throughout the entire organization and get all of their managers to that level, that they're going to be able to achieve their growth objectives much faster and much more profitably.
What kind of feedback have you received from the academy, from the XP3 system, talent system? I mean, tell me a little bit more about some of the feedback you've received.
Yeah, so we get feedback all the time, but probably the best testimonial is that probably 95% of our customers are repeat customers. They see the value in it. They'll tell you, we won't even make a hire without using the XP3 Talent System and their support. From the academy side, we get feedback from our clients that it's helped them achieve, 30, even sometimes 40% year over year annual growth. So it's really all about results that's being accomplished for them and how it's making them so much more effective to be able to grow a sustainable, profitable organization.
Man, that's awesome. So, Mike, go ahead.
If I can throw one thing too, from the candidate perspective, which is something that most people rarely look at, right? So one of the other things that's entwined within the system is to make sure that every candidate has an amazing experience throughout the entire process, right? And so we hear from candidates all the time that tell us that this was one of the most, interesting and innovative hiring processes they've ever gone through, that like they've been doing this kind of work, whatever the field is, for years, but they've never looked at it from the viewpoint that we take them to help dig deep and really explore their knowledge, skills, and behaviors as it relates to being successful in the role. So we get lots of feedback all the time, even from the candidates from that side, which is probably one of the most satisfying things that we get to hear.
Man, that's awesome, Mike. So, Mike, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about the XP3 Talent System or about the XP3 Leadership Academy, I mean, what's the best way for them to follow up and to connect with you and your team?
Yeah, great. So 3 ways. One, to learn a little bit more, obviously go to our website, which is XP3Talent.com. And you can learn all about our programs, methodology, tools, et cetera there. You can shoot us an email at info@xp3talent.com if you want to speak to somebody or set up a call or see a demo. And then obviously you can give us a call, and our main line phone number is 540-369-4469.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great things that you're doing over at the XP3 Talent System and the XP3 Leadership Academy. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener, return visitor. And Mike, thanks again for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Adam, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.